All right. Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Give me a second here just to get everything positioned. So, all right. I think I'm all set. Hopefully you are too. And welcome aboard to all the new folks, by the way, from the Destin Market Center at Panama City Beach, Navarre, of course, out in Pensacola. Welcome aboard. We're going to start here in just a second. We are live. We are recording. But I'm going to make sure we get everybody in here first. So let's do that. And let's see, we got a call in. We got Betty. Hey Betty, how you doing? Good to see you. Chris, good to see you, buddy. Diane, Doug. All right. Doug, I appreciate the work you did on the spreadsheet there. That was awesome. So Helen, Jamila, good to see you. Jamila. Let's see, Jim, Carrie, Luann. My gosh, we got a full house here. Hey Louie. Hey Louie, how you doing, buddy? Hopefully you're doing okay. Let's see, Nicole, a couple of Nicoles. Well, we got a really full house here. Shirley, good to see you, Shirley. Susan, Willie, Human, good to see you. Good to see all you guys. Okay, let's do this. I need to grab some information. So hang on one second. And let's see, I'm gonna save that. Yes, I'm gonna save that. Save that. I'm just bringing up some material we're going to use for tonight. And what's interesting, this is going to freak some people out. We're actually going to go over the workshop technique tonight. Kind of told you ahead of time we were going to do that. And the reason is it's, we're into the second week of April now. Even if we want to do a workshop in June, we should start thinking about it now. I don't want to distract you from your current marketing campaigns, okay? Every one of you should have that booklet out. I mean, Jamila's another perfect example. I just spoke to her yesterday. She did her campaign. And Jamila, I might bring you on here in a little bit just to have you talk about what you did. I know you did a follow-up text effort too, which brought in some more responses, which is pretty awesome, by the way. So I'm going to reiterate this at the end of the webinar tonight, guys, but I just want to help you maintain focus, even though each week we always cover a different subject, okay? Now, for those of you who are new, the weekly webinar is not necessarily in alignment with the modules in the learning program, okay? If it is, it's purely just coincidental. The reality is these are like a live open mic, basically unscripted. You get to ask any question you want. We talk about any subject you want. Now, I do prepare ahead of time. So if there's something you do want to discuss on the weekly webinar, please let me know in advance, at least a couple days, right? Preferably over the weekend before, so I can prepare for you, prepare for that subject, right? Sometimes we've got a lot of Q&A. It just, you'll see sometimes they go longer than an hour, but this is an awesome way to stay engaged, stay connected, and help you fill in the gaps, because every time you learn something, it doesn't matter how good the material is and how thorough it is, there's just little gaps in your knowledge, and you go through the implementation. There's little things that every person's different, every situation's different, every market's different. The fundamentals never change, but pricing changes, inventory changes, all those things change. So the point is this: we use these webinars to fill in the gaps. All right, and then when we do strategy calls, that's more direct one-on-one guidance, where I'm literally guiding you through execution. Okay. So I just want to clarify that for all the new folks. So let me go back to my material here, and I'll bring this up. So hang on just one second. Let's see, where's there it is. Okay, we need to do workshop, and that should come, there it is. Okay. All right, I'm going to share this with you in just a moment, so please hang on. Just to share. And I think I got it right there. Okay, good. All right, so you should all see on your screen now, basically a Word document. Up top it says workshop checklist. So Lou, if you wouldn't mind, just type in the chat box, just say you see a workshop, something like that. That would be awesome if you wouldn't mind, Louis, doing that. And I'm going to check Let's see, we got more participants, good. Okay, we got people already typing in the chat box, so let me see that. Oh, let me do all panelists and attendees. Okay, so now we can all see each other's chats. Let's see, Nicole, everybody can see it. Thanks, guys. Louis says knocked out for 3 days, but okay. Oh, awesome. Louis, I'm glad to hear that because I've created some information. I did what's called an impact filter on the mega expansion team. Some of you have showed interest in that, by the way. I don't know if Melissa, you're on, but Melissa and I, we had a great strategy call today, and she indicated to me last week that she was interested in the mega expansion team. I think several of you have. So right now, more to come on that, but I'm going to be speaking with Louis about that initially, and some other folks in KW. I just talked to one of the regional owners today, and so that looks like that's moving forward, guys. Right, not your opportunity to be part of a team, nationally that just focuses on investors. So more to come on that. But for tonight, a couple of things here. A little bit of housekeeping. So if you are new, you'll recognize that by default you're in mute mode. We all are except for me. You use the chat box to type in your questions and comments and things like that. Okay. And from time to time, I will unmute you and bring you on vocally. It'd just be you and I, and everybody can hear it. And I might do that with Jamila tonight because she was the last person I spoke to who executed the marketing booklet campaign to her email list, to her contact management system, and got some really interesting results. The overall response rate was still within the margin that we expect, about 5%. I think it was slightly less, but the conversion rate, like the number of people ready, willing, able now, was actually high relative to the size of the database and a number of responses. So just interesting results, and I want to share that with you, and keep that focus on doing that first to build that demand. And then most of you, we've already spoken, you've already gotten the letter campaign, and you should definitely be looking at that. So I know Willie, you're doing that. Jamila, again, you're doing that. And I tell you what, guys, that's where the two parts of the business come together: supply and demand. You build the demand with your buyers. You find a supply with the campaigns that go into the radar screen, and that's how you not just survive but thrive and get a lot of double unders. Okay. In any case, I'm doing a lot of chatting here. Tomorrow, you're going to, after every webinar, you're always going to get the recording of the webinar from Beverly. Okay. It's also going to have information in there about scheduling changes, scheduling updates, everything you need to know about the systems and platforms, dates of things. So it just keeps you informed. And usually they're kind of lengthy, so you got to go through them. She also gives you the upcoming webinar schedule. You can log in and schedule those ahead of time. There's always a motivational video to watch, and usually something else in there, some other kind of a checklist, what have you. In fact, I'll make sure this checklist. Beverly, I know you're going to watch this in review mode. Make sure everybody gets the workshop checklist. If you could do that, that'd be awesome. In fact, if we have a workshop, what we call a power pack, if we don't have it yet, Beverly, don't worry, let's just do the workshop. But if we have the power pack for workshops, let's go ahead and get that in everyone's hands tomorrow. The power pack, guys, for each marketing campaign includes the checklist, which we'll go over tonight for the workshop, includes any written material you need to send out to people, like booklets, letters, things like that. Workshop doesn't have anything like that. Also, a written description of how you actually do the workshop. Okay, it's like an hour long, and the recording of that also. So you get all kinds of just immersed in whatever that subject is, right? So let's do this. Let me go into the subject, and we will get started. So first things first, as with any marketing campaign, boy, the first thing you do, guys, is always determine what your goals are. So if you think about goals, your goal could be building your database. Your goal could be nurturing people on your database. Your goal could be, obviously getting ready, willing, able clients today now. Okay, sometimes you get combined results, but you also want to put in their numbers. Okay, so if you do a workshop campaign, and some of you have not seen this, we didn't go over this when I did the testing class. Okay, That's partly why we're doing this tonight, by the way. The thing is this, it's usually a long-term effort. It's a repeat effort. It's a recurring effort. And it's one of those things that's a momentum type effort. It builds up momentum over time. So with a workshop, the goal is for me personally, and you can cheat and grab this if you want, plagiarize, whatever you want to call it. Just basically, we call it swipe, S&D, swipe and deploy. Okay. My goal with the workshop is to build a community around myself of like-minded people who want to buy and sell, invest in real estate. Okay. Now, obviously, you get all those commissions because you're the person running the workshop, and it's every single month you do it. Okay. But the other thing is this is because you're building a community and it's based on contribution, you're providing a valuable service, you're providing information, education, right? You will help develop partnerships in there. People will develop joint ventures and they'll buy 2, 3, 4 will gather together and buy a bigger property. And they might decide to bring you in on it because you're the person who brought them all together and you're giving them all this information. So it's a wonderful, awesome way to really kind of grab a part of the market that belongs to you. Okay. And I'm going to drop a big giant hint here. All right. We've had such great results with this over the years. We actually have a bigger effort behind the scenes. Okay. So in the beginning, I'll have you do just a plain old simple workshop for investors, real basic, real simple, nothing fancy, and build that. And if you really like it going forward, and some of you will, okay, we're going to help you build an actual investor club around that, complete with, to have its own structure, its own legal structure, be a separate legal entity. Okay. You'll have guest speakers come in, all kinds of stuff. And I've done it myself, so I'm living proof you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And I've also helped several other people do it also. Some of you, okay, you're in Destin. A lot of you are in Destin, so you go due north, head up to Hoover, all right, the town of Hoover, Alabama. And 3 of the agents there did this back in 20s, whatever year that was. And within a year, they were up to 300 people, okay? So that's how powerful this technique is. I know people that have groups, 400 or 500, 600 people in their workshops. I know one guy in Chicago has 6,000 people. He's been doing it for 6 years. Okay, Northern Virginia, 600 people there. It's just an amazing tool, and it's going to be one of the cornerstones of the mega expansion team. Okay, and that's my choice and my preference because I know from history when I started that right out of the gate. Long term, my business flowed more smoothly, and I had more repeat business. It was involved in bigger transactions and things like that. So I'm just going to kind of put that out there. For right now, let's come back to ground zero and focus on this. So if you want to say my objective, my goal is to build a community around yourself, that would be a noble goal, and put a number on it. 100, 200, 300, 400, whatever you want to put on there, and make it a 1-year goal. By the end of the year, how many people you want to have coming to your workshop on a monthly basis. Okay, now that we got goals established, and if you have questions, guys, please type them in the chat box. Okay, questions or comments. Let me just double check. I think we're all clear now. Okay, the second thing is, if you're really new, okay, and I just had a call with Melissa today and Cindy yesterday. Both are fairly new to the business and somewhat new to the areas, all right? You can create what's called a niche group. Okay, niche marketing is powerful. You may, your brain's going to think this is counterintuitive, like as I'm going to ask you to narrow down the scope of your people you're going to be working with. Instead of trying to appeal to all people, focus on a specific group of people that you already know, you associate with. Maybe you come from that background. Maybe it's a group of teachers. Maybe it's a group of retired military folks, retired Army, for example. All right. Maybe it's a lot of contractors. Maybe you've been in the business with a lot of contractors, okay? HVAC contractors, electrical contractors, plumbing contractors, the list goes on and on, all right? Well, you can create a niche group and focus on that particular market and focus your marketing on that market. So real quick, somebody, or if you want to guys, type in your chat box, let me know, say, yes, I've done niche marketing before, or no, I haven't. Or if you ever heard this phrase, how about this? The riches are in the niches, okay? It is true. Now, let's say you start off with a group of, building contractors, okay, general contractors. You might think that's a tough group to work with, but you know what? They're in the business, and a lot of them like to invest. Okay, so just kind of everybody's different. You gotta be a student of human behavior. Okay, and I promise you'll be more successful as a result. So in any case, your marketing, what you're going to put out there in the world through the media, through booklets and letters and Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, is all going to speak contractor language. Okay. And one of the other things it does is, even though you start off with a smaller group, it allows you to incubate safely in a vacuum. Because think about it. If you create a group for contractors who are real estate investors, how many other realtors do you think will be part of that group? Probably zero. You get all the goodies. Okay. So you operate safely in a vacuum. And once you master the technique, then you can open it up to more groups, or just open it up in general to the public. Okay. But it allows you to incubate safely without competition, and you don't have to worry. You get all those commissions. Okay. So I think you should consider a niche group in the beginning, particularly if you're new to the business. Okay. So please write that down. If you're new to the business, please focus on a niche group. They're easy to identify and define. And I would say this. I would almost encourage even the veterans to start off with a niche group. If you've not done a workshop, if you're a veteran agent and you've not done a workshop, I would encourage you also to do a niche group first. Okay, whatever, it could be any group. I mean, I named 7 groups in when I taught your class, when I taught your market center. You know, the teachers, the firemen, the policemen, military, pilots. You know, I'll forget the other groups, but in any case, dentists and chiropractors. How about that? Well, maybe you're not in with any of those groups, but maybe you're in with contractors, or maybe you're in with accountants. Okay, just go with that group. I'm telling you, they don't have to be in the top 7, but go with the group you're familiar with, because you got to develop the routine and develop your own style, and it's going to be easier to do that with people who will connect with you because you're one of them. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's see here. Let me go back to this now. Not now, but I would say by, oops, sorry, this thing's jumping around here too fast. Number 3 is select a room. I would say right now, start thinking about where you want to have it. You can have it in your own market center, the training room there. You can have it in your community library. There's a number of places that have a workshop. Okay. I want you to consider where that is. And by the end of the month, by the end of April, you should have it secured. Now, hopefully by the end of April, we can start thinking about doing this in June, because you're going to need a month to prepare for it. Okay. So what I want you to do right now is start thinking about a niche group and where you want to have it. Okay. My first one was in a library, and it worked great because it's a neutral environment, and most people associate learning and education and information with libraries. Okay. So it's a neutral environment that people, it's like a total risk-free scenario for them. They come in and get some free information, and it's a neutral, they don't have to, like, you don't use this as a sales platform. You use it as a community platform, and out of that community, you will get sales. Okay. So back to this, I would say, think about where you want to have it and start making those phone calls. I know the libraries are supposed to be shut down right now, but you can still call them. They're still doing business, right? They're still doing business. It's just all over the phone and over the internet. Okay. Now, when you talk to like a librarian, you have to remember to tell them that, because they're going to ask you, tell them that your workshop is nonprofit. You're not in there selling anything. You're not going in there selling listings. You're not selling anything. All you're doing is providing meaningful, valuable content to local investors who are willing to form a community. That's all you've got to say. Okay. And then out of that group, they will ask you if you can serve them getting their next duplex or flip. And your course will say yes. Say, let's set an appointment up for tomorrow night. You don't discuss specifics in the workshop. You make that a separate one-on-one meeting. Okay. Everybody, please write that down. Okay. So you secure your location. Do that within the next, by the end of the month. Okay. Now, the next thing is this. There's lots of marketing you can do, but I'm going to save you some time here and help you get started with some marketing right away. And it's really easy. Use meetup.com. Right there at number 5, it says meetup.com. Now, I want you to write this down. In fact, maybe I should just show you. If you go to the, let me just show you. Hang on a second. I'm going to go to the website. So let's see, Real Estate with Gary Wilson. Let me click on that. So let me show, first let me share the screen. Hang on just one second, I'll share this with you. So share. So you should all see the main page of the website. I'm going to click on members area, okay? And then we're all silver level members, including me. So I'm going to log in there, all right? You know, I've got to share that screen. So hang on, guys, while I get this going, I'll share this with you. It's technically a separate site. So let me go here and share that. Can you share? I should see that screen. And I'm going to, oh, by the way, if you haven't done this already, over to the right where it says affiliate program, definitely log in and set yourself up for that, because some of the content that you're going to be given to give to your consumers, give to your prospects and clients through the nurturing campaigns, it's all free for you and free for them. And there's nothing in there that's salesy. It's just content, giving them free forms for calculators and stuff like that. Well, they're going to associate that with you. You're the one that gave them that free information or gave them that free form. If they decide later on, they say, hey, you know, Susan, hey, I want to actually do this now. You nurture them. They decide they want to buy a flip or buy a rental, and you say, and you suggest they get trained, or maybe they say that they want to be trained, or they're going to take this training, all right, on flipping, for example, and you're set up properly, you actually get credit for that. I don't mean like a piece of paper. You get money, that kind of credit. Okay. All right. So back to this. Click on silver. All right. And you go down here. Let me see here. We are looking for the webinars. Let me go back up. Here it is, weekly Q&A webinar. So you click on that. Okay. By the way, can you all see my screen? Are you seeing what I'm showing you? I just clicked on weekly QA webinars. Somebody just type in a chat box. I want to make sure I shared what I'm supposed to share. Susan says yes. Hot dog. Good. Okay. And I'll get to your questions here in just a second, guys. Well, if you go to the Q&A webinars, they're all in here. All right. And I think if you start typing here, click to see webinar by subject. They're all in here. You just scroll down, and guys, there's hundreds of them. If you thought you got a good deal the other day in class, now you're probably really freaking out, because this stuff's, I mean, hundreds of them, and it grows every single week. So in any case, there's a special webinar in here just on meetup.com, and I'm having the darndest time finding it, but it's in there somewhere. All right, so let me go back to the checklist. Okay. Let's go back to share. I got to reshare that. So checklist. There it is. Oops, no, it's a. I want to share the screen. I want to show the checklist. Okay, hang on one second. There it is. Okay, now we're back on the checklist. All right, Meetup, and there's other. The recording Beverly is going to give you also goes into Meetup in that recording too. So here's the point. Meetup, if you've ever used it or have not used it, it's a great online community building tool, and you can build a community around any niche you want. Okay. So again, you can create on meetup.com, you know, the Destin Investors Forum for Contractors, the Sarasota Investors Forum for Contractors, wherever you're from. Okay. And then I'm not going to show you to here because that would take us a whole different session, but you can create the group, define the group, and it's easy. I mean, literally within 15 minutes, you'll have your group set up. Well, what happens is you're going to select what's called keywords and key phrases to define your group. So if you're going to be working with dentists, for example, in your keywords and key phrases, you wouldn't just say all the obvious ones about investing, real estate, flipping, rentals, wholesaling, cash flow, all those, right? In there, you're going to intersperse keywords that identify dentists, the dental group. Here's why we're doing this. Meetup, once you create that group, goes out to all the other meetup groups in your area. that has any of the matching keywords or key phrases. It invites all those participants to join your meetup group. It's an instant boost in gathering contact information. It's like, and we've run contests on this. I mean, I think the person that did the best, her name was Anna Jenkins. She was in Stafford, Virginia. And she and her husband and I become really good friends. They actually met, it's just a crazy story. They ended up getting married, and they were both colleagues in their same market, and then I taught them. It's an interesting story. So back to this. Within 48 hours, Anna had 48 new contacts. So this is why I'm showing you this technique, guys. All right, who'd like to have 48 new contacts in 48 hours? So in any case, she won the contest that time. That's the initial push. Now, what you're going to do is, first off, recognize that Meetup is not the end-all be-all. Meetup is not their main hub of your community. It's a tool to help you attract and communicate with people. That's all it is, okay? You still have to do your workshop, and you can announce it and set it up through Meetup, okay? But you're going to do other marketing. Once you create the group, you're going to send an announcement out to your database, your email, through email, and invite them to join the group. And you're going to invite them to invite others to join the group too, okay? Other people from work, their work, their school, their neighborhood, friends, church members, whatever the case is, right? Encourage them to bring new people in. You get discussion groups going on. And when you finally get together 2 months later, that group should have grown enough that you will now have a pool of people to pull from your first workshop. That's why I'm saying do the Meetup now. Just get it up and get it running, get started, okay? Now, you're also going to use other marketing. You're going to promote it also through your Facebook page, on your LinkedIn page. If you're on Twitter or Instagram, use those too. If you want to do a quick YouTube video and you can record this, you can do like a Zoom call like I'm doing now, walk people through, show them your Meetup online. It's got its own unique pretty little page. And then if they see you in the recording, load that recording up to YouTube, all right? And I've got another channel to promote your group, all right? So in any case, let me do a quick pause here and check for questions as I see them coming in. And I don't want to go too much further without doing that. So let's see. This is Jamila. Hi, Jamila. Good to see you. What are your thoughts on in-person versus virtual Zoom workshops? You can do breakout sessions on Zoom too. Yes. So perfect example tonight, Jamila. We're actually doing technically a workshop. It's part of a larger effort, larger program. But you can definitely do them online and do them through Zoom. You can use GoToWebinar. It's another tool you can use. Google Hangouts, all kinds of stuff you can use. Zoom has vastly and quickly become the industry standard for these things. I feel bad because I was with GoToWebinar for years. And there's some things that GoToWebinar does that Zoom doesn't. But the problem is for GoToWebinars, Zoom does more things than GoToWebinar doesn't, okay? So back to this. So Jamila, great. If you're already, by the way, if you already have a workshop up and running, by now you should have already converted to Zoom during this phase we're in, kind of the stay-at-home phase, right? Social distancing. But if you have not done a workshop yet, I would suggest you wait to do the first one live, because I'll be the first to tell you, you're going to get way better results live and in person than you ever will over a computer. It's just, for some reason, it's just a natural fact of business. People just like that in-person contact. There's just things that communication-wise are not transmitted through the internet, okay? When you're in with somebody in person, there's another level of communication that goes on, right? There's an old saying, wherever two or more of us minds get together, there's another mind is created, okay? And I believe that to be true. When we do masterminds, we definitely meet in person a couple of times a year because we know the power of that. Throughout the year, yes, we're on Zoom and things like that, not as powerful. But I would say when we're in lockdown, definitely do Zoom if you've already got a workshop already. You should not let your workshop just die. You should keep it going through Zoom, okay? It's easy to set up an account. I think it's like $15 a month or something. Now, the one I use is over $100 a month, but we're using more bells and whistles. Any case, thanks, Jamila, for the comment there. Okay, so back to the, oh, this is from Helen. Hey, Helen, good to see you. With what niche group did your example find all those contacts in your contest? I really can't tell you what Anna did or some of the others. I know for me, what I did is, and actually I'm going to just, everybody here, just write this down. My very first workshop, I didn't even have a niche. I knew so few people because I was in the computer department in a large bank working on mergers and acquisitions. They didn't let us out in the public meeting people, right? So when I did my first workshop, all I did is I invited people in my database, and a whopping 6 people showed up, okay? And I thought, man, what a bust that is. Next day I told my broker, because I was still new, I was, still working a full-time job. And he said, you got to relax, Wilson. He said, 6 people is not bad for a first turnout. And he said, also this, he said, I want you to do that workshop every single month. And he's like pointing at me, do it every single month without fail. And don't let me down. This guy was like, he was like a football coach, and I was like, okay, yeah, I won't let you down. Well, it grew. He told me, he said, every single meeting, ask them to bring somebody with them the next meeting. And man, did they. That thing grew to, was it 78 people in 5 months, okay? All organically, all internal. It wasn't until I had to go get a hotel room because we outgrew the library, okay? And then it went to 200 people by the end of the year, leveled off at 200 people. Now, Helen, back to your question. What I learned was, this is where I really learned a lot about the business, okay? I learned that my best clients, and I know I've given you 7 groups before, but for me, guys, it was the dentist and the engineers, flat out. Top 2 groups, hands down. I love the other groups. I love the pilots. I had pilots that I work with. There just weren't that many of them compared to engineers and dentists. Okay, lots of chiropractors, but again, not as many as dentists or engineers. I had police officers, firemen, I loved them. They're awesome investors, but it was such a small group. There's a lot of engineers, guys. There's 452 types of engineers in the world. That's a lot of, and you multiply that times the numbers of electrical engineers. Multiply that times the number of mechanical engineers, and there you see why. And plus, those engineers, man, once they commit, guys, you can't stop them. They're going to keep buying and buying and buying. Teachers are good, but for me, Helen, it was the dentists and engineers. Now, I know one student out in El Cajon, California, right outside of San Diego. I taught him back in 2017. It's just like you guys. He took the training, and I was teaching there again last year, 2019. And I'm in class. I'm looking at him. I said, I feel like I know you. He said, yeah, I was one of your students. And I said, well, do you need help? I'm wondering why he's coming out of the class. Turns out a lot of people take this class over again because it's like there's a lot of tools, a lot of information, a lot of strategies. I mean, Louis will tell you, it's just like an endless supply of content. But he said he knew repetition is the mother of learning. He wanted to come back, get some other techniques, because that's what he did, guys. He did the booklet campaign and did the workshop only with firemen. He was a fireman and a realtor. And his last batch of booklets, this was back now, I saw him in January 2019, so it's like November of 2018. He told me he sent out his last batch of booklets for the year to the firemen because he's going to do the workshop in December. Every month he does a workshop at different fire precinct. And he said 25 booklets went out and 25 commissions came in. And I'm like, dude, I never got anything close to that. I don't even know anybody got close to that. All right, the guy just hit it out of the park because he niched it down to the one singular group of firemen. But he was a fireman, so remember that. If you're going to niche it down, try to pick something you're already connected to, right? It could be anything. We've had people form groups, investor clubs for runners. Like in Dallas, it was the Dallas Investors Forum for Runners. We did one in North Georgia region. It was North Georgia Investors Forum for parents of preschool children. How about that? And he crushed it because all those parents that had preschool children were thinking about paying for college 15, 18 years later. And all he had to say was, look, you can save in the 529Cs. That'll work. But if you buy a duplex today in 15, 18 years, it's kind of be probably worth double, triple what it's worth now. And all that cash flow is going to go up. You might even have it paid off. So now you can take out a small loan to pay the tuition, and then use the remaining cash flow to pay room and board. And that's, boom, that was a sales pitch. You guys should write that one down. Let me give you a second to write that one down. Investors Forum for parents of preschool children. And the pitch is, they got to pay for college, and there's nothing more secure than a piece of income producing real estate. Okay. Okay, so let's get back to this. So Helen says that's encouraging. She gets along with engineers. That's awesome, Helen. Okay, Doug, great question for initial workshop. Should there be a guest speaker? I know I'm going to go against conventional wisdom, Doug, when I say this, but I'm going to say no on the first one. And it's not to be mean or punishing, or I'm not like a Bobby Knight kind of a teacher. It's just based on experience. What I want you to do is build your group around you, Doug. So my suggestion is this: every other meeting should be only you with your group. The other meetings, the other months, okay, let's say the even months are with you and the odd months are with a speaker. So February, April, so forth, so will be you. January, March, May, et cetera, will be with a speaker. So every other month have a speaker. But what it does is it maintains that tight relationship building format, because people are going to think of you. I mean, I've been invited to my clients' children's weddings, all kinds of things because of these community groups. But in the beginning now, I want to kind of encourage you to do this, guys. It's going to be tempted to bring in guest speakers, because once they see what you're doing, like the local lender, the attorney, insurance salesman, they're all going to want to be in your group because they get all that business too. I would try to hold them off at least to the third meeting, at least, if not the fourth one, okay? It just gives you time to establish the group and build that rapport between you and them. So Doug, does that make sense? I know it sounds conservative, but boy, let me tell you, you lay that keystone on the foundation correctly, the rest of the foundation lines up, and then you build up from there, okay? So you're welcome, Doug. So Susan's saying she taught early childhood for 20 years. So you can probably speak the parents' language on Susan. Okay, let me go back to the webinar here. All right, so we're going to use the other marketing media to promote your workshop, okay? And this is why I'm saying, let's think about this now, because if you're going to do this in June, guys, you definitely want to figure out where you want to have the room. If you want a niche group, set up your meetup.com to start building that up. Meetup will build and grow organically. Start using some social media coming up here, like after Easter, okay? Nothing expensive, just good old fashioned grassroots stuff, okay? Now, if you're interested in learning more about these other forums, here it is right here. You can go back to that silver level membership site I just showed you with all those recordings. Just go through them and look for where it says Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, and you'll get instruction on those different media, how to use them. In fact, later this month, I'm going to have Jody on, and we're going to walk you through how to use Facebook, creating an ad, a custom audience and a lookalike audience based on information you've already got. So I don't know if it's going to be, which one it is. It might be the 15th, it might be the 22nd, I'm not sure, but we'll have it sometime this month. Okay, now, number 7, all that information you have back on the server level membership site. Let me just go out there and show you. Let me do another screen share. Hang on one second. So share this. All right. So I'm back on the server level. If you scroll down where it says forms and calculators, okay, you can download all these forms and they're all yours. And these are yours to share with your clients, okay? Make sure they associate them getting these free calculators and spreadsheets and analysis forms with you. You're the one they're going to make that association with you. And by the way, if you're really a kind-hearted person, where it says website resources, guys, look at this. Gobs and gobs and gobs of websites for researching everything you can possibly imagine. Share those with your clients. I suggest you share them one at a time as they need them, all right? But the point is all this is given to you to help build and maintain solid relationships with your clients. There's a term called reciprocation. So when you work with these investors, okay, when you build those relationships from scratch, you're going to build loyalty. And one of the ways you maintain it is by constantly giving them tools, information, calculators, spreadsheets, stuff that they can actually use. And they'll because of reciprocation, the ones you want to work with, they'll be naturally inclined to reciprocate by only using you as their agent, okay? In fact, I'm gonna tell you, I broke a rule years ago. In the beginning, I always got my agency brokerage relationships, those forms signed with my clients. My broker was, and he was like he was cracking the whip. But over time, I realized I didn't have a problem with loyalty. The way I was operating, I still have clients today that I've had for probably 18 years, and I'm not even in service right now, right? But I still support them. But that's how strong that relationship is when you do it based on these types of techniques and the basic philosophy of coming from contribution and giving and serving. Anybody if it really gets that, just type in your chat box, amen or I get it, because I tell you what, I built a fortune by giving, okay? And like Zig Ziglar couldn't have said any better. If you want to prosper yourself, I forget the exact words, but help enough other people get what they want, and you'll get plenty of what you want. So if you want to invest, and we want you to invest, help other investors invest. And I promise you, you're now in that world of investing. All right, you're going to see the opportunities, you're going to see the properties, you're going to see how loans are, how creative purchasing techniques are done. All that stuff, you're now immersed in it, okay? Sorry, I feel like I'm starting to get kind of preachy here. So back to this. Make copies of all those worksheets. Make bunches of them, bring them in, edit them, put your name and email address on there, okay? And your phone number too, by the way. Now, number 8, very important. In the beginning, you're going to bring in samples of properties. They could be properties that were sold 5 years ago. It doesn't matter. You're just going to bring in samples of properties that look like they were a good deal. It's a good investment. Somebody made a good purchase, whatever. Okay. And you're going to bring them up, put them, you're going to hand them out first in paper, hand them out. Okay. Hand out all the paperwork. Remember, this is why this in-person technique is so important. You can do this through Zoom. You can hand out things through Zoom. It's not as easy, by the way. But when you physically hand somebody something, once we're past this, the lockdown phase, people, it's just human nature, giving and receiving. Okay, human nature. So back to this. Make copies of everything. Also bring copies of properties. You should also have the properties on your computer. And your computer should be hooked up to the overhead. Remember, you're going to get a library, or you're going to go to your market center's conference room, or your classroom, your market center. There should be a way to connect your computer to some type of an overhead. Okay. What this means is you can go on your computer and use the calculators and spreadsheets. Here's one of the main ones you should use. Let's see here. I'm going to bring this one up. I had this up earlier for a student in Florida, one of our Florida market centers. So let me just show you this. Okay. This is called the rental property calculator, and he's buying a rental, and we went over this. Okay. Now this is one thing that's very difficult to brand because it's protected, but you can still staple your card to whatever. But this is one of the ones you want to show online through your computer with the sample property, putting it up on the overhead so everybody can see what you're doing using this calculator that they're not going to get access to because you're going to send it to them. Now, does that make sense to everybody? What I just went through, that sequence of steps. Show them a property on the overhead, show them the calculator, how to use the calculator, and then send them the link, send them this Excel spreadsheet to their email addresses. All right there on the spot, okay? Well, you talk about reciprocation. They're not getting this at other workshops, I'm promising you that, okay? In any case, back to the checklist. I wish I didn't have to keep resharing, but that's one of the drawbacks of Zoom is you got to keep, it won't recognize you're switching forms unless you tell it to. Okay, so you're going to bring in those properties, hand them out, bring in the forms and hand them out. Okay. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. at the beginning of every workshop, you should always start off the conversation, but for purpose of building rapport. And the easiest way to do it is bring in an article on real estate, of course, any article, blog, something relevant. Like right now, of course, all that stuff's going on with the Small Business Administration, driving people crazy. It's just absolutely, it's a classic cluster blank. Okay, I can't repeat the exact term. It's a military term to describe a big giant mess. Okay, and what's crazy is entrepreneurs. We're out there conducting business, producing, serving people. We don't have time to be fooling around with stuff that's not working. We got to do things that work. That's why I'm totally in production. I'm not even, I'm not fooling around. I looked into it and I could see right away they kept changing the rules every day. So I called my coach and said, Mike, I'm not messing with that stuff. I'm going to focus on the business. Okay. And thank goodness we did. But here's the thing I want to point out here. If you have rentals, guys, or your clients have rentals, you definitely can make that a very relevant, pertinent subject, because if they have rentals, they can get reimbursement, right? They can get loan, not forgiveness, but forbearance on their loan payments on the properties. There's all kinds of things they can do through the SBA. So that will be an idea of a really relevant subject to bring in. Okay, now, getting ready for the workshop, all right? You're going to send out, and you're going to first announce it on meetup.com, the obvious ones, Facebook, things like that, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. Now, about 3 to 4 weeks out, you're going to start sending an email to everybody announcing it more formally. Yes, this workshop, I've told you we're going to have a workshop. Now we're going to have a workshop. And the workshop is June the 5th, whatever. Let's just look and see, get your real date here. Nope, that won't work. June 5th is a Friday. June 3rd, June 10th. Always make it a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And for me personally, that's what worked. And it was always 7 p.m. in the evening, right? Your time zone. I've had people do them on Sundays and Saturdays and things like that. I've had people do them early in the mornings, like on Fridays, before everybody goes to work, and they work. But most of the success we've had with people are always in the middle of the week, that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday frame, and always 7 p.m. because it gives people a chance to get home, get dinner served to the kids, get them started on homework. They can go to the workshop, come back, be home by 9 o'clock, and get everybody in bed. Okay, it's just to me, it's what worked best. Okay, but you're going to tell everybody to email formally with a formal invite and a link that they click on to register for your live workshop. Okay, you can do that through Meetup and put that Meetup link in your emails and everything. Now, you're also going to send out another email 2 weeks before, another one 1 week before. So it's a 3, 2, 1, right? 3, 2, 1 countdown. All right. Now, right the day before, you're going to send out one more email. Okay. In the morning of, or sometime during the day, you want to send another reminder, like a text or a phone call. Now, if you got 500 people, you're not going to want to call 500 people. But if you got 20 people, you're just starting out, do a phone call. It's all about the relationship. But a text will work. You just want to give them one more reminder the day of the event, and don't make it too early. Make it later in the afternoon or something like that, okay? Because the day before they would have gotten an email, right? So do that. Then you hold the workshop, and I kind of gave you the format there, but I'll just go over it quickly again here. In the workshop, you're going to start off with the article, talk about the article, recent events, right? Build rapport, okay? They're going to move quickly into looking at properties. And what's amazing here is you might think you need to bring in several properties. I can tell you, you'll be lucky if you get through 2 properties, okay? Sometimes you just get through 1 property because you're going to ask people to make suggestions on how to make that property perform better. Can you add a bedroom? Can you split it, a single family, into a duplex? Can you restructure the financing? Can you lower the term, lengthen the term on the loan, lower the interest rate, increase the down payment? All these what if scenarios. There's 2 reasons for this, by the way. Number 1 is you want engagement from the people in the room. So everybody, please write this down. You need to establish engagement. People working with you and each other. Engagement is number 1. The second thing to write down and is what's called action. You want to determine who the action takers are. They're the ones who are going to be filling in the forms, rolling up their sleeves, breaking out pens and pencils. Those are your action takers, and those are the ones you want to work with. Now, the third thing is commitment. So you've got engagement, action, commitment. Commitment is they're going to say, "Hey, Betty, you know, I've been to this is my third meeting now. I want to work with you. I want to move forward. What do we do now?" And Betty's going to say, "Betty, type in. What are you going to say to me?" This is a test. I'm putting Betty on the spot here. Okay, let's go to the chat box. Let's see. While Betty's typing it in, let me go back to make sure I didn't miss any chats here. Actually, I think I'm caught up. So here's the deal. This is where you set your appointment. That's the commitment part, okay? Now, throughout the year, you're going to have action takers and you're going to have the followers. The action takers generally act more quickly. They don't kill themselves with the procrastination and all this stuff, all the reasons why, you know, I don't have time, I don't have money. If you want something bad enough, you'll make it work. I can tell you, I bought properties with no money and no bank financing. I know you can do it because I've done it. In fact, if any of you, if you have clients, hey Betty, did I send you that chapter? Yeah, I think I did. Jamila, maybe I didn't send it to you. Jamila, if you could let me know, did I send you that? I did send it to you. That's right. If any of you have clients who are saying something like, I get it, I want to invest, but I can't get a loan and I don't have any money. I'll give you the chapter from the 6th book. The 6th book is called Massive Passive Cash Flow Method. In one of the chapters in there, I think it's the 4th chapter, is about 100 pages of all these creative purchasing techniques that you should learn yourself and you can give to your clients also, okay? In any case, engagement, commitment, action. So let me go back to the chat box as I see some chats coming in again. This is Aaron. Hey, Aaron, good to see you. I started a virtual meetup group last week and it already has 23 members without me promoting it or doing anything at all, but I didn't establish a niche. Is that still okay? Yes, that is okay, Aaron. So I tell you what, kudos to you. You get the gold star for the night for taking action and showing initiative. Isn't that amazing? I mean, literally in 1 week doing nothing, you got 23 new contacts. Okay, that is just flat out awesome. You know what we should do, guys? Should we do a contest on this? We can do it. Let's do a contest, and we'll say we'll measure at the end of April. The last webinar in April, by the way, is going to be perfect. Last day of the month, Thursday, April 30th is the last day of the month. We're having a workshop. I mean, a webinar. Let's do a contest. At the end of the month, it's on the 30th, whoever has the most new contacts, members, whatever, through this workshop technique, and just use Meetup to start. Just start off with Meetup. It's easy, guys, easy peasy. Hey, Vince, you should be able to see, hey, Vince, click on your chat box because it's shared, this thing is shared with all panelists and attendees. Susan would like a copy of Massive Passive Cash Flow Method. You know what I'll do, guys? I'll send that to Beverly, and I hope I don't get in trouble for this. The book, you're supposed to buy it online on Amazon, but when I turned that over to the publishers and editors, you know, I gave up obviously rights to that, but I kept the source material. So I know I can send it to you directly without selling it to you, like just one chapter, which is what I'll do. I just wonder if Beverly, I'm just going to have Beverly send it to you, and I'll have her tell me what I did wrong after the fact. Yeah, don't buy it, Susan. I'm going to send you the chapter. There's a big book, the guys. It's like 500 pages. In fact, if you do want to get it, everything is in there. I mean, literally from start to finish. It's my business life from when I first got started with the very first property, all the way till close to now. All right, goes up through buying the first rental, flipping, wholesaling, starting a brokerage company, starting a property management company, title company, all that. And then and moving in the commercial, did that. And on the way, I learned all those creative purchasing techniques. So that's all in there. It's hopefully won't bore you to death, but let me give you the free chapter first. And then if you want to buy the book on your own volition, you can go do that. Okay, check this out. I get like a whopping 7%. How about them apples? Okay, let's see here. Back to this. Now, you're going to want to nurture these people. So what you want to do is this. There is a ton of videos and content out there. First thing you should do is this, though. That very first night, ask them to tell you what their interest, where their interest lies right now. Okay? Some will say, I'm more interested in flipping. Some will say, I'm more interested in buying rentals. Some will say, I'm more interested in wholesaling. Send them, this is the link right here. It's going to be in you'll get this tomorrow in an email. Just send them the link. These are little 5-pagers. These aren't big books. These are little 5-pagers. Give them these. It's a little bit of a, like an introduction to the subject, and then follow up on a regular basis with all these YouTube videos. Okay. And again, these are all free to you. You should be looking at them too, by the way. Go to Real Estate with Gary Wilson YouTube channel. Let me change that edit right there. It just changed that. What? I don't know how long, maybe a week ago. Real Estate with Gary Wilson. Okay. So go in there, you should subscribe to it. That's just a favor to me because apparently the more people subscribe to it, the more famous I become. But all of those, the instructions you hear, what you do with it, you don't want to send them an entire playlist. Just send them one video at a time. And when they're done, send them this special video here. Each subject has its own little kind of a wrap-up video. By the time they get there, guys, in a nurturing campaign, they should be ready to do the commitment part. Raise your hand and say, hey, Doug, I want to work with you. Willie, I want to work with you. You know, this is how you get them to do that. Okay, it's called a nurturing campaign. And the cool thing is you don't even have to come up with the content of the nurturing campaign. We just give it to you. All right, it's all value add content. They're not sales videos. It's really, here's how you use this checklist. Here's how you use this calculator. Here's how you analyze a flip. Here's how you analyze rental. It's all in there. Okay. And when people do respond to you, obviously, you want to screen and interview them. So everybody should now be on the new learning platform called Access Alley. Okay. The script or the process you use to work with them when you first interview them is in chapter 5 for the rentals, and in chapter 5 for the flips, and chapter 6 for the rentals. Okay. Flipping first, chapter 5, rentals, chapter 6. Wholesaling, you can use either one because wholesalers are either wholesaling either a flip or rental. Go through that learning material so you understand how to condition those people to work with you. Okay. Always ask them to send you an email recapping the conversation you have with them. All right, because remember, you're qualifying them. And the ones who email you back, you work with them. The ones that don't, maybe give them a second chance, but I wouldn't give them a third. They're telling you with their behavior what kind of clients are going to be to work with. Okay. And if they're still not ready, then you can start them on a booklet campaign. There's an endless stream of things you can do with these folks by doing this campaign. Okay, let me go back to the chat box because we actually managed to finish on time tonight, but I know there's a couple of chats I didn't get to. Shirley, hey Shirley, take care and God bless. Good luck on the appointment there. Good to see you. Aaron says, let's do a contest. Hey guys, if you want to do a contest, just say, let's do contest. I'm going to go ahead and implement it. And we got to let's do a giveaway. Let's do this. How about, let's say the winner gets that book for free. I'll purchase it myself and have it shipped to you. How about that? Okay, you get the whole Massive Passive Cash Flow Method book. The thing about that book is it ties everything together, right? So once you start in this learning process and you see where you fit in, it's great. It's nice to have one eye on today, but also nice to have one eye on tomorrow. And you can see the big picture. This is one of the things Louis will tell you. It's like once you get in there, you can see the path that you can lay out for yourself and follow it. And I'm not the only one who's done this. What's the name of the book? So Helen, it's called The Massive Passive Cash Flow Method. Here, I'll type it in. Passive cash flow method. They used to call me, guys, the cash flow wizard, which sounds crazy because I'm nothing like a wizard. But people couldn't figure out why I was able to do so much and have all these businesses, and it's just like it was basically a cash flow machine. This explains how to do it, and it's not that I'm a genius, but when you piece all those pieces together, and you got that one core client, the investor, they definitely need property management. They're definitely going to need title insurance. They're going to need appraisals. They're going to need, all that stuff. But that's what I did. I just provided all those services that they need. If you look at banks do the same thing. They provide multiple services to every one client. Okay. So in any case, so that's really the big picture. And what are the requirements to win? So, Jamila, you guys, I tell you what, Jamila's going to throw the gauntlet down for you. If Jamila does this, you got some competition, okay? Because she is a freaking barnstormer. But let's just do this. Let's say the person with the most new contacts through using Meetup, as a process developing the workshop. So you're doing the workshop technique. You're starting off by using Meetup. As a result of that first wave, whoever's got the most new contacts wins. How about that? And it's easy to determine because you just print off you go to meetup.com the day of the webinar, do a screenshot and send it to me. We'll bring it up on the webinar that night. And I tell you what else I do. I'm going to be so ready to get back on the road, okay? Because right now I'm supposed to be in Alabama. I'm supposed to be in the Panhandle, actually, and in Alabama. So I might go on a road trip and come and visit you guys, and let's go to dinner and stuff like that. Well, I'll pay for dinner. How about that? In any case, so Louis just sent the link for Amazon. Thanks, Louis, for doing that. Okay, guys, I think that's pretty much it. I saw some folks use the Q&A box. Let me see if I didn't miss anything there. Keywords for dentists, can you give some example? Oh, so Betty, when you go into Meetup and you start typing in like dentist, it'll pre-fill for you. It'll put in dental this, dentist that, orthodontist, things like that. You just start typing in, okay, and it'll fill in the rest for you. I would say make it about, you're going to get 15 keywords or key phrases. You want to make this about 20%. The other 80% should be investor related. The other 20% should be your niche group, okay? Excellent question, by the way, thank you. Let's see, this is Aaron. Last week I started a virtual investor. Oh, sorry, Aaron, you put that on the, also in the chat. Okay, good. Guys, I think we're actually caught up here. We managed to actually get caught up and finish on time. Well, listen, God bless you all. Keep the faith, keep taking action. Turn off the TV. I know it's tempting to get down and, there's lots of bad news out there. Just remember, it may all be true, but it's not helping you take action and get results, okay? The best antidote for fear is having faith and taking action. I wake up too sometimes worried about my parents, I got 5 brothers and sisters. I mean, my gosh, it's just, I got children already in the workforce. But I just have faith. And it's not that I've been through everything in the world, but I've been through, this is my 5th recession. And I've been pretty much in a position before. Some of you probably know more of the story, but I had a doctor tell me one time I had no hope. A doctor told me that. And look, I'm living proof. I didn't have hope, but I had faith, and I just kept asking myself, what can I do? What can I do? And in today's environment with real estate, remember, 75% of industries are out there still humming right along. They need to be supported by you. So I would focus your energies on those groups, the engineers, the teachers, the firemen, policemen, right? The medical field. Focus on what's working and ask yourself, what can you do to serve them? And I promise you, you're not only going to survive, you're going to thrive. So let's see. Helen says, what are those ages? What were those ages? What were the? Hey, Helen, your type. I'm not quite sure to make out because it got skewed when you typed it in. And Aaron Ramos is asking, please remind me how to set up our strategy session. Hey, Aaron, just email me, GaryWilson@kw.com, and I'll send you the link. But the link is in your initial material that Jody sent you. So when Jody sent you that first welcome aboard. Here's the things you want to do. In there is a link to set up a call with me. And you should set up a call with her too, by the way. Helen says 15 keywords for group type and number and question for others keywords. Yeah, so what I would do, Helen, is this is you're going to get to choose 15 keywords or key phrases. I would make 12 of them investor related terms, flipping, rentals, cash flow, tenants, things like that. And the other 20% would be focused on a particular niche group. If you want to do the niche approach, and I do encourage it, and you can change your key. I think you can change your keywords and key phrases too if you want to do that. So Aaron, I would say, Aaron, keep going with what you got because it's working. But if you're interested, you can change your keywords and key phrases. Let's see. Looks like I thought another chat came in, but it's not popping up. I tell you what, guys, I'm going to go ahead and. Oh, there it is. That was great. Thanks. Okay. Thank you all very much. You guys take care of yourselves and your families. Stay safe. And remember, where there's a will, there's a way. I'm glad to be here helping you. Let me know if you need help. Do like Aaron's doing, set up a strategy call. Let's just keep that bar rolling. Remember, this is just the beginning. These techniques are not just one and done. You're going to keep doing them every single month. My job is to get you to do 3 as fast as you let me do it. I said, let's get the letter campaign going next. Get you started on the workshop, and man, you're going to cruise into the second half of the year. Okay. Okay, guys. We'll see you next week, and look for the email from Beverly. Okay. Take care, and God bless.